Americans say it wrong. It's not water, it's water. And why did they change the vocabulary? That's what I used to think until becoming an English teacher. And today we are going to answer the question whether American English words came before British English words, or is there something in the middle there? Today we're going to look at a comedian, British comedian, Michael McIntyre, poking a little fun at the way Americans use English. And we're going to check out the video and analyse it together. Let's get into it.
The thing about Americans that I've thought about the language is that they say they speak English, but they've had to change it to make them understand it more. Go with me on this, because I've thought it through. They've changed some of the words. So they've taken the English language, but they've looked at some of it and they thought, no, I think we need a little bit more explanation here.
Good American accent? What do you think?
That's my American accent. So things like pavement. So they can't work with pavement, so they've changed it to sidewalk. Yeah. They needed more information. They needed to know where they were going to be walking so that they wouldn't get run over.
So I didn't think of that.
Pavement, sidewalk. So I think there must have been a period of time where they ran with the word pavement, but they kept getting hit by cars. So they changed it to sidewalk. Now bear with me here, John.
So if we look at etymology.com, we can see that pavement came before sidewalk. Pavement was around in the mid-13th century. It's from French originally, and sidewalk was first used in 1721, but actually became more of a word used in America around the early 1900s. So we can see in this instance, yeah, British came before American, and an interesting change. Did they not understand pavement? Or maybe did they just not have a word originally? Let's go on.
Now bear with me here, John, because I've thought this through. Yes. Bin, the word for bin. In American, waste paper basket. They needed to know what to put in it. They needed to know that not only it was paper, but waste paper, and that it goes into a basket. It's not just any paper. They kept throwing away fresh paper for a period before they introduced the word waste paper basket. You see, it's like they need instructions.
Now this one is a very interesting one because I also learned something whilst researching this as well. So bin is a very old word. It comes from Old English. So we can probably say that that word is much older than waste paper basket, that collection of words. But the thing is, apparently waste paper basket was actually used in the UK as well. Now personally, I've never heard anyone use it. So whether we used it a long time ago or not, I'm not too sure, but apparently it was used. But it is interesting that we put waste paper rather than just paper basket or just basket. It's interesting that we made it so specific. But yeah, apparently it was in the UK, but we tend to use words like rubbish bin or bin, maybe even garbage, but not so much waste paper basket these days.
Glasses for your eyes, they call them eyeglasses. They needed to know where to put them on their face, because they used to have glasses and they would put them on their thighs and they would put them on their feet and they would say, I can't see any better with the glasses. And then somebody went, no, they're eyeglasses. Well, why didn't you call them eyeglasses?
So this one's a really interesting one because for me, it's just glasses. I don't know why we need to specify. We don't really use anything else. We don't use the word glasses for anything else, do we? Apart from maybe things that we put liquid in. But apart from that, we don't really use it for anything else. So I can't see how there could be any confusion, especially with the shape of it. But yeah, we do have this difference that does appear, glasses and eyeglasses. Glasses in England, eyeglasses in America. Now, the interesting thing is they are from around about the same time, actually. So 1660s in the UK, 1715 in America. No idea why they didn't use the same, to be honest with you, but that's the way it goes, I guess.
But my favourite one, without a shadow of a doubt, is horse riding. Do you know what horse riding is in America?
Is it not called horse riding?
No, horseback riding. They had to specify the area of the horse. Well, yes. There were terrible problems because there was a period of time when they didn't call it horseback riding.
Where did they go?
They used to hold on to the tail. And
yeah, we probably should pause it there. This one is a very interesting one as well, because where else would you ride the horse? I couldn't find much information about the difference between these two actually, on when they came when there was a difference. But it's an interesting one. I assume it must be something to do with when the horses pulled carriages or something behind them anyway, and maybe to distinguish the difference between horse being at the front and pulling a lot of people, and then being on the back of the horse, maybe horseback riding was used then. That's just a guess that I kind of come up with, but what do you think? Put it in the comments. Now I want to add a couple of my own here, which I always thought were quite interesting ones that were used, that are kind of small differences. So in the UK, we tend to use the phrase pushchair for that thing where the baby goes in. In American, they say stroller. Stroller came in the 1920s. Pushchair, there isn't really a time for, actually, but it could have been earlier. Couldn't really find out the information, but in British English we use the literal sense instead compared to American. But stroller is also quite literal, because it's like taking something else whilst you're going for a walk, whilst you're going for a stroll. So that makes sense as well. Trainers versus sneakers, again another interesting one. Trainers we tend to use in the UK, and it makes more sense for me if we think about it literally. So if you're going to put on your trainers, you're going to go training or exercising in some way. Whereas sneakers sounds a bit strange. Sneakers sounds like you're going to sneak somewhere, like a thief. So I thought that was kind of interesting one. Just thinking of it now, we can also look at chips and crisps. Now I know chips is a very old word, probably one of the first ones, but the fact that you need to say potato chips is kind of weird. Like, they're both made out of potato, so why did you need to add the extra word on? Is kind of interesting. And obviously in America, instead of saying chips, they say French fries, don't they? So I'd assume that came a little bit later. There must be some relationship with France in that one. I haven't checked that one out though. But yeah, and then crisps as well. We use crisps instead of potato chips in the UK. So that's an interesting one as well. That's it for this video. Make sure to check out this one, because it's sure to help you with your English.